Well, good morning. It's nice to have you here. My name is Bruce Russell. I think I said this the last time, unless you don't like what I say. And then my name is Joe Driscoll. That worked one week. I hope it'll work this week as well. Well, you might remember back when jokes like this were popular. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? You remember hearing that one? Oh, you know what that means? That means I need to remember to take my medicine, which I already did. So that's pretty good. Forgot to turn it off. How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, if the light bulb really wants to change, right? How many chiropractors does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but it requires 25 visits. Now, these are some that you might think, I was a part of that church. How many Christians does it take to change a light bulb? Well, let's see if you belong to any of these groups or have been in the past. Charismatic, only one. Hands are already in the air. All right. Pentecostals, 1 to change the light bulb, 9 to pray against the spirit of darkness. Presbyterians, none. Lights go on and off at predestined times. Baptists, well, that's where I come from, at least 15. 1 to change the light bulb, and 3 committees to approve the change and decide who brings the potato salad and fried chicken. Episcopalians, 3. 1 to call the electrician, 1 to mix the drinks, and 1 to talk about how much better the old one was. Unitarians. We choose not to make a statement either in favor or against the need of a light bulb. However, if on your journey you have found that light bulbs work for you, you are invited to write a poem or compose a modern dance about your light bulb for the next Sunday service, in which we will explore a number of light bulb traditions, including incandescent, fluorescent, 3-way, long life, and tinted, all of which are equally valid paths to luminance. Methodists, an undetermined number. Whether your light bulb is bright, dull, or completely out, you are loved. You can be a light bulb, a turnip bulb, a tulip bulb. Bring a bulb of your choice to the Sunday lighting service and a covered dish to pass. Nazarene, I thought this was pretty funny. 1 woman to replace the bulb while 5 men reviewed church lighting policy. That's a lot of churches. Amish, what's a light bulb? Now, here's the one that I want to focus on. How many seniors does it take to change a light bulb? And do you know what? I'm afraid I'm a part of that group. It happened in a hurry, didn't it? Do you know what the senior said? Change. We don't believe in change. Amen? Oh, a lot of us are there. There is a changing of the guard. We know that. We've always watched it. As kids, we watched it happening, wondering what it was about. And then we were the ones who were leading the clubs and leading the ministries and the ones in charge at the office or in the home or at the school. And all of a sudden, before we were ready, probably, it was time to hand it over to the next person. Well, in our text today, we find Moses in a situation where he is in charge. And the people have something to say about everything he does. And I think the application will be one that we can all use today. Let me read to you. This comes from Exodus chapter 17, and I'll read a number of verses. So let me just read them to you. At the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of sin and moved from place to place. Eventually, they camped at Rephidim, where there was no water for the people to drink. So once more, the people complained against Moses. "Give us water to drink," they demanded. "Quiet," Moses replied. "Why are you complaining against me? And why are you testing the Lord?" But tormented by thirst, they continued to argue with Moses. "Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Are you trying to kill us, our children, and our livestock with thirst?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What should I do with these people? They are ready to stone me." The Lord said to Moses, "Walk out in front of the people. Take your staff, the one you used when you struck the water of the Nile, and call some of the elders of Israel to join you. I will stand before you on the rock at Mount Sinai. Strike the rock, and water will come gushing out. Then the people will be able to drink." So Moses struck the rock as he was told, and the water gushed out as the elders looked on. Moses named the place Massa, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, "Is the Lord here with us or not?" This is a very familiar situation for Moses. Everywhere he went, the people would begin to complain, and then they would criticize, and ultimately they would challenge his authority as their God-appointed leader. And there are a lot of people like that today who are doing the hard work like a Moses, somebody who leads an organization. Of course, we're concerned about those who are leading a church or a ministry. And sometimes, if we are not careful, we can become like the people of Israel. And we just slowly, just with one or two, we begin to complain about what's being done or how it's being done or the way he or she said it. And then it's not long until the two or three become four or five, and we all take our turn criticizing the individual because, obviously they're not doing it right because they're not doing it the way we've always done it. Isn't that the key? And then before long, the group is enlarged and the people are challenging the authority of that person to lead the group or the ministry or the office. Well, that's where Moses was. And then during a critical time, instead of meeting two people that were complaining all the time or 10 people, he met two people who were there to encourage him. And you'll recognize the story right away. It's from that same chapter, starting at verse 8. When the people of Israel were still at Rephidim, the warriors of Amalek attacked them. Moses commanded Joshua, "Choose some men to go out and fight the army of Amalek for us. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill holding the staff of God in my hand." Now that's the one he just hit the rock with. The one that brought enough water out of a rock to feed probably about 6 million people. That was a miracle to mark down in your diary as, "I remember, I was there, I saw it happen." So Moses said, "I'll take that same staff and I'll go up on the mountain." So Joshua did what Moses had commanded and fought the army of Amalek. Meanwhile, Moses, Aaron, and Hur climbed to the top of a nearby hill. As long as Moses held up the staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. But whenever he dropped his hand, the Amalekites gained the advantage. Moses' arms soon became so tired he could no longer hold them up. So Aaron and Hur found a stone for him to sit on. Then they stood on each side of Moses, holding up his hands so his hands held steady until sunset. As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of the Amalekites in battle. Remember that story? That's a great story we learned a long time ago in Sunday school. Here's Moses holding up the staff, and can't you just see him in your old Sunday school book with him there holding it up? And pretty soon it's so heavy that he has to have two hands to hold it up. And then just slowly it begins to come down because he can't hold it any longer. And when it would drop, everything would change on the battlefield. And then that's when Aaron and Hur came along and held his arms up. For hours, they held his arms up so that the battle could be won. Now, the question needs to be asked: who won the battle? Well, we would say the Lord. That's true. But in the Lord's plan, he had other people involved. Maybe we would say, well, it was Moses. It was his staff. He held it up. Well, maybe he did win the battle. Others would say it was Joshua. He was the one on the field fighting and conquering. Somebody might say, well, Joshua couldn't have done it alone. It was with his soldiers. They ought to get the credit. But may I suggest to you that as much as all of those people are responsible for the victory, there are two other names we should add to the list, and that is Aaron and Hur. Now, we are in a position in life, whether we wanted to be here or not. You know how fast time changes everything. But we are in a position in our lives where we can look out and see who those people are that are leaders in this part of the world that we're a part of. And I believe that God would call every single one of us to be an Aaron or a Hur to those individuals. You have a pastor? Support him. Lift him up. Be Aaron, be Hur for him. Somebody who's in charge of our facility here. Those who have responsibilities within this facility, they need somebody who will come along and say, listen, you can count on me. When the others are criticizing and complaining and challenging everything you do, you can count on me. I will be there to lift you up and to encourage you. We have that opportunity. And may I suggest that if you are a Christian, it's more than an opportunity. Guess what? It is a responsibility. So when I look around in my life, all of our lives are a little bit different, of course, but I think in my family, have you noticed how your kids slowly start to become a little bit like your parents? Isn't that a funny feeling? When they're coming by to fix you this or that, or fix or take care of that. And it's hard for me as a dad to be able to say, you know what, I need to support my kids. Things are changing. When I go to church, I make it a habit now of praying for my deacons. I am responsible to them. I'm under their authority in a sense. And I need to be one of those people who will lift them up. The church that I was a part of, I pray for that new pastor. I want him to do a really good job. I want him to succeed in ways that were beyond anything that I experienced. He needs to know that I am Hur. I am Aaron. I will be there to encourage and lift him up. Do you realize that those individuals change the world? And even though we don't have the strength to do what we used to do, we don't have the opportunity to go to the places we used to go, there is a responsibility and an opportunity to change the world by supporting those who are given God given authority. Well, do I get a bonus if I get done 2 minutes early? There should be a bonus. Oh, when you get done early in church, guess what all the people say? Amen. All right. But anyway, I wanted to encourage you to be an Aaron, be an her rather. Fell apart, but you know what I'm saying. Be one of those individuals to lift up and to encourage and to strengthen. And the world will be a better place because God will bless it even more than we can imagine if we do our part. All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's always good to be here. It's a little bigger group this time. Does that mean we don't even like to use the word normal? Does that mean we're getting closer to normal? I sure hope so. Let's listen to one more closing song.